Welcome back to the LPL Regional Qualifiers, coming at you live from Nanjing, China. You can see that dusk has definitely come down on the city. But right now, not currently on the series, as Edward Gaming currently 2-1 on match point over JD. And Clement, this is not what we expected coming into today.
Definitely, and it's been so long since I felt that familiar feeling of dread watching an EDG game. They are the macro team. They will stifle all play on the map, and they're just sucking the life out of JD Gaming, who really run a lot on emotion sometimes. They really run on the chaotic nature of the team fights. And EDG, they're just the San Antonio Spurs of the LPL. They always do the right moves. It's not always the flashiest plays, but it is the most fundamental plays that you can make, and it's always the correct one. What I want to see out of JD Gaming is they need to spice things up. They need to have kills happen. They need to see the blood in the water for them to get really ramped up. So I want to see really easy kill lanes for them to set up, especially in the bot lane. You pick something like a Varus and Braum, someone's going to die level 6. You get the early game lead. You can play around with that. Or maybe in the top lane, you just go even crazier. You know, the Jason Quinn are still in the pocket of Zoom, so he could take that out and try to make it more about the individual mechanics, more about just the fights early on. Yeah,
because the problem here for JD is not that they just don't have the player talent. You know, look towards topside, and remember, first time we saw this matchup, we did pound for pound talent. We gave topside of the map 3 out of the 5.
This is Ray, this is Zoom.
Exactly, straight to Jingdong on their side, and then you look at the bottom side of the map, it's like, okay, yeah, this probably goes over to Mako and iBoy. That wasn't really the case in Game 1 and Game 2, so in terms of player talent, they can absolutely give it to them, but it almost feels like JD being trying to play into the EDG style, and that's what they've adapted into. But just go back to basics, you know, go back to what was working for you, because it took you to this point in the regional qualifiers.
The biggest surprise for me is that they actually gave up bot lane priority in this series alone. Before that, they were always going on the Varus. They wouldn't even touch the Kai'Sa. It's like, do you want the Kai'Sa? It's like, no, I'll take the Ashe. I'll pick the utility. I'll make sure I can actually make kills happen on the map. And that's what I want to see JD Gaming go back to. I'm not saying much for EDG because I feel like they have a good solution to work on. They're probably going to do the same things. Adaptation should be on JD Gaming's side.
For sure. I mean, EDG, everyone knows what they're going to go towards. Never really going to change their tactics, but for now it's working incredibly well for them. 2-1 as we head into Champions Leg. It's going to be the Tamkej, the Gragas, but Clement's happy, the Scion's gone, hey, and so is the Rise.
Yeah, I'm so happy the Scion is gone. It's just a champion that is a brick wall. You cannot do anything to it in lane. There is no laning phase to talk about, and I'm a top laner that likes to trade in lane. I want to see blood in lane. I want to see split pushing, and top laners actually getting a good day one-on-one. So, you know, I'm really happy Scion's gone. I'm really happy they're going back to the Varus. Thank you, JD Gaming. This is how you took down EDG the first time around. It still works. Please.
Yeah. Just do it again. I mean, I understand the theory is just like, hey, well, in the second time around, they probably adapted to it, but they didn't have an answer whatsoever to this strategy. Just do it again. There it is. First pick, Varus. Fantastic. Coming out from the blue side here on JD. Alistair was the final ban towards Lumao, but Akali was open, and Akali gets locked in for EDG.
And here's the big question. Who is that Akali going to go to? Most of the times, we will expect Scout being the one to pick it up, but in the LPL, Akali is also a very good top laner as well, so they're going to have to think about that matchup in the back of their heads when they're selecting their solo lanes.
Zai will be the pickup alongside it, leaving open the Aatrox to go over to JD, so a power picker of their own. See where that goes as well. Probably going to go to the top lane, to be honest. Zuma's definitely more of the Aatrox player, though. Yagao can play it. And there's the Skarner cleared, going back to what works.
And this is what I want from JD Gaming. Just take picks that guarantee that you're going to get kills. If you can actually have this stop in the mid game where you have a couple kills on your belt, you will feel much more confident. You'll go into the mid game at least equal in some situations. And I just love the adaptations coming in from them so far. EDG, they're probably going to look for the Taliyah, which has been a pretty good pick for Haro against the Skarner specifically, because you can just push him in anytime he's running in a straight line.
To be honest, it's been the best pick coming out from Haro back when he was starting off the summer split, to be honest. You know, we really didn't see all that much coming out of Haro. There was nothing really inspiring coming out from as a jungler back in spring, but Taliyah, when he came in on that pick, he was a smashing jungler. So to see him pick it up right here, I like to see, and as you said, also good into that Skarner pick. Morgana will be the ban here from EDG as well.
If they're looking for to target out things that could push the lane in, JD Gaming is playing more towards lane priority right now in terms of the bot side. They have such strong kill combinations. I think the big question is what is Yagao going to pick? Because there aren't a lot of answers against the Akali. Typically, we think about the Rise and Lissandra and Galio. Those are pretty much the 3 big picks you take in the Akali, and a lot of them are off the table at this point.
Galio's the only one left.
Yeah, Galio's pretty much, he has to go back to that.
Cool. Janna's the final ban there towards JD, so there's an option if Yagao wants to move back towards the pick here, but I want to see Yagao not on Galio, man. Like, I want to see him go onto the Zoe. But he's going to get smashed in lane, so it's just like, well, unlucky.
Just doesn't do well against Akali.
No, it doesn't. So it's just like, yeah, the fact that we just have an Akali means that it's not going to get that wish. Camille, actually the final ban there from JD. They already got themselves a jungler.
Camille's an interesting one. So they're reading that there's a high potential for the Talia to actually be in the mid lane.
Yeah,
so they want to take away the Camille for Haro instead.
Man, I was such a troll. Like, every single time.
He's just going to go on Braum.
Yeah.
You have to take Braum Varus away. That's just too strong of a kill threat.
Yep. There is Whoopi, Braum, and Xayah into the bottom lane. JD. Looking towards top mid and support as well.
There aren't a lot of hard engaged champions left. Rakan gone, Braum gone.
Here comes the Blitzcrank.
Oh boy, give it to me, give it to me. I want to see the Blitzcrank. The Lissandra's probably going to get locked in against the Akali. We've actually seen this in the EU LCS. The strategy works really sound is that you have a ton of people with crowd control, so Akali can find 0 targets to go onto. Pulling a page out of Schalke, I believe, in their series against Fnatic.
Yep, Schalke no fear. JD, final pick for them.
It's going to be the support.
It will be. What do you want to see?
Lulu's great against Akali. I can understand that. I love Blitzcrank play. Like, it's my favorite support.
What? Oh, I like Fiddlesticks too.
Yeah, Fiddlesticks works the same way, basically. If Akali comes in, you deny her. So that's a great pick as well. It gives him the level 6 kill threat and also the push priority. So that's a great selection for Luma. However, JD Gaming, they've selected themselves into a composition that really needs to work early game. If they don't come out ahead mid-game, there's no going back.
So looking towards their final pick, it's going to be a top laner or a mid laner. We're expecting Scout to be picking up the Akali, but it's going to be the Galio final pickups. That means that Ray, we got our wish, will be picking up a carry in the top lane.
And here's the question, can JD Gaming actually flex alongside? Is Yagao going to go towards the top side? Or is Zoom just going to pick up the Lissandra?
Yeah, that's a great question. Because typically you look towards Zoom being the Aatrox player, but I haven't seen Yagao play Aatrox.
They're not swapping. There's 15 seconds away before they have to lock. Will this be Yagao's first Aatrox game?
I mean, it'll be the first Lissandra game as well for Zoom in the top side, But they're just going to chase these picks coming out from the EDG, and I like it. If they have the ability to do so in those lanes, do it.
They're finally going to go all in on the early mid game. We didn't see the final second if they swapped or not. They kept it. It's going to be the first time Lissandra, first time Aatrox for both of the Dumpling brothers.
One and the same, hopefully, on the rifts coming out here. But we've pretty much got everything we wanted from a match point game. We get to see Ray on a carry pick. We see the adaptation come in from JD. We see them also go back to what worked for them, going back to basics. The Varus comes through, the Skarner comes out, they ban away the Scion, they ban away the Rise. If it doesn't work here, then nothing will. Yep.
They've thrown everything in the kitchen sink at EDG. This is their final card. Can Coach Home finally salvage the situation? I had a lot of questions about his game ones and his earlier drafts, but this one is what I want to see from JD Gaming. I believe this is their highest win percentage play.
Yep, it's on point. This is the perfect team as well to try and make a comeback happen as well in this series. JD, do not get flustered and use best of 5s and best of 3s. We've been playing best of 3s all split long. Up
against EDG, to the mid-game tempo team.
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, EDG, I don't know where this has come from as well. They've definitely been playing up in this series. We haven't seen anything really like this the entire year. We've seen it bits and pieces, but not all of it at the same time in this best of 5. So it feels like they were just limping along. It's like, just kidding. We're absolutely 100% fine.
Massive carry potential coming out from EDG's rosters as well. Also going to be the first time, I believe, we're going to see the Akali coming in from Ray, finally going back to his carry roots that he displayed all the way back on North America in C9.
Yeah. A storied player, Ray. And get to see him on the carry as well. Feels good. As we get onto the rift, EDG at match point. The machine trying to take down JD, the upstarts. wasn't sure he was going to stop for a second. He'll go up to 5 and it's like, how long can he keep going?
Level 1 for me definitely goes into EDG's favor. They do chase away the Skarner, make sure that he can't get the River Gold. It's quite sizable, actually. If you think about the early gold, that's you could get top 60 gold overall. If you share it, the Spire with someone, it's 30 gold. If you take it alone, it's 15. So EDG actually even pull ahead off the Skarner pick.
Skarner OP.
Yep.
But not for you.
It's the fastest way to give gold to the enemy team.
Yeah.
Potential fastest way.
Yeah. Zin's going to get some back. All right, Akali picking up the Electrocute into top lane. Will be areas out from Lissandra. Of course, Predator into the jungle there from Clid. Lots of Electrocutes across the board, actually.
This matchup is very much about who can smash those fingers faster. As we've seen the Lissandra matchup actually backfire, where she can't get the R fast enough on herself.
Akali just blows her up.
Yep.
Now into this mid lane as well, it'll be fascinating to see how Yagao does on this pick into the Galio. I mean, it's the first time we're seeing Yagao on the Aatrox. I mean, no doubt he can play it, we just haven't seen it. Aatrox has been a permaban pick up until very recently.
Well, I guess there's a first for everything, but the early game is going to be so important coming in. This is what I want to see out of JD Gaming's bot lane, at least. They are pushing forward, a rare sight in this series so far.
Yeah, but again, they've also swapped it up. They've moved away from these constant hyper carries. It's not going to be the Kai'Sa, Xayah show every single game. We're actually getting the Varus, which is the pick that really took it to EDG in the first place. You know, this was what was working for JD in all their series moving so far. It's like Loken has the ability to deal damage in the late game, but he can make initiations happen. He can rotate with the team, and he can start these skirmishes in the mid game and the early game. That's really what kicks it off for JD. So I like to see the change. Though top lane, Ray doing quite well on this pick so far.
Great trade coming in from Ray right there. And the danger of the Akali early on is she could get so many Qs down on you in a single trade. The biggest kill threat from the Akali is actually not the level 6 all-in, but the level 8 all-in. That's when the Twilight Shroud actually gives you extra, the passive actually gives you extra energy back. It gives you 20 back. So you can do a 4Q trade, and that typically kills any champion.
Yeah, including Lissandra. She really needs that level 6 to get going. Hopefully her wave clear should be enough to get her to that point. That's typically what you're looking for. Take a deeper look at those runes coming in here, going for Scorch actually and Ares, so constant poke damage coming through, and Time Warp Tonic as well, just trying to sustain through this early laning phase.
And the Lissandra typically is a Xiaohu counter pick for him. He's really the big proponent of him. Yep. And we've seen Lissandra being built actually quite tanky in the LPL. A lot of times the ROA comes down. Woo!
Turns out Yagao can definitely play the Aatrox pick. Ignite came down there as well. Scout is going to have to go home.
Is this going to be Yagao's trump card?
Apparently. Wasn't expecting it, but here we go. This is working so well in the early game, just finding the Galio, just unable to do anything about this. Massive minion wave about to collapse. We'll see if he just places down the Infernal Chains here.
And Talia's coming in as well. He can't stay for this trade.
Big minion wave. Scout's going to get the taunt off. Going to have to turn around on this one. There's the flick as well. Yagao low. Has to try and farm the minion. Didn't even get the cannon though. He's doing a lot of damage to return. Oh, to Scout. Has to flash away. It was close, but EDG secure first blood.
But they do manage to trade the flashes at the very least. It was quite dicey for a moment right there. If the passive came up once again for Yagao, he might have taken that kill, actually.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of damage that those minions were doing in that situation almost took down both of them. Yeah, Haro and Scout will have to go back to base on this one, but still, the kill goes over. And it goes over to Haro again, starting off this game strong.
Definitely well played on his part. We've seen Talia absolutely dominate games. If you allow that pick to farm up till the late game, she's a very worthwhile damage dealer on her, by herself. I think it was Score against the Griffin series where he was able to outfarm 50 CS at 15 minutes. And Talia is just one of those picks that you do have to disrupt her tempo a little bit.
Yep, the opposite has happened in this early game.
Yep.
Goes in super well, goes back to base, picks up the Fiendish Codex, looking towards the bottom lane now.
Good fear.
The Marseille's happy birthday. But now he's under attack, out of mana. In comes Skarner from the top side, but he's locked down into the follow-through. The flick is good from Haro. Traded supports, though. Cleared now on the retreat. That's going to be the route down from iBoy. Turned around onto the minions, in fact. And Haro pushing forwards these pebbles. Loken low, waiting for the flick to come back up. Haro, where is it? Dodge out from Loken.
Good sidestep coming in from Loken. Very tense moment right there. Of course, he still had his flash, but that's definitely not something you want to burn early on.
No, sir. That was Akali. She's in top lane. There we go. I was like, raise the bottom lane?
Yeah, I was surprised about that as well. It's like, what?
Yeah, I hope the players don't hear that.
So that's the animation for
flash forward. Zoom setting up potential kill there onto Ray. Had the ultimate. Was about to put him in the fridge.
Yep. And does force Ray to do the shuriken flip straight off the bat. This is one of those high skill cap matchups. If you really do mess up like Zoom did without the flash, there's actually a lot more kill threat for Ray right now.
Yagao feeling confident in this matchup mid lane despite the death. Bottom lane feeling good as well. Good CS lead coming in there from Loken in the early game. Hasn't gone back to base yet. Actually, neither has iBoy. Juggle 2 kills down onto Haro. He's going to hit first item very quickly. Mid lane being pushed in. Yagao actually has the safety this time around because it's Glizzy's pushing forward. Haro just around the corner though, clearing out this ward. Going to find the flick right into the pebbles. Haro pushing forwards. And a threaded volley coming through, and Clid will just take the blast cone to safety. Extremely dangerous situation for Clid right there. He didn't know where Ray was on the map yet. But you can see what JD Gaming are thinking about. They need to disrupt Haro's tempo at this point. He's a little bit too big, already 2 kills on the map. So they're trying to leverage Yagao's lane priority to shut down Haro. They need to slow him down. I haven't seen it just yet. 1 kill over to Clid, 2 kills over to Haro. It's been a game of the junglers so far. Mid lane's been warded up as well for EDG on both sides. Again, Yagao's really confident as this champion. Yep. There's a first time for everything, and 2 new picks coming out from Yagao. We do have to remember, Yagao is actually the most banned player in Spring Split. You think about him as the triple threat. Azir, Zoe, LeBlanc, you just have to take those champions away. Ooh, Ray getting combo there onto Zoom, pushing forwards once again. 5-point strike comes out. And Zoom, keep talking about this matchup. It really is on a literal knife's edge. The key thing about the Akali in these trades is that she does have to get the passive off the auto attack enhanced after she lands a skill for damage. So that gives her extra energy. And the most dangerous thing about Akali is if you give her a long lane, she can absolutely run you down. She attacks you with a shuriken flip, she goes back in, and then she has a 3rd Q ready, a 4th Q ready. Just way too much sustained damage, actually. Her burst, surprisingly, isn't actually her scariest thing. It's really a lot more about how much sustained damage she can get onto you if she gets the combos correctly. It's not to say she doesn't do burst damage though, because I've seen people pop like a balloon. Clid moving towards the top side, Claw comes through, trying to get in range for that ultimate, but we'll just choose to back away. Knows he's been spotted on the ward somewhere. We'll still head into the enemy jungle here, Clid, though, and Zoom will get the push off on this one. I'm surprised that JD Gaming aren't trying to go for the bot lane a little bit more. I feel like that's their easiest lane to get kills. The Varus ultimate and Fiddlesticks just following up is so dangerous. But EDG, if JD Gaming are not going to do it, we're going to play our style and we're just going to push in your bot lane. Yeah, I mean, again, that's the reason why you like to pick the Varus pick, especially he's gone towards level 6. I'd be surprised if Clid showed no attention to the bottom lane now that that has been the case. Maker's still level 5 on him as well, so it'd be a nice window if he actually just decides to move towards the bottom side. Haro is still hanging around though. I love we can tell whenever a trade is going down in the top side. Like the observer doesn't even need to pan up. Yeah, we just got the audio right there for us, Into the jungle, just Zanate loop. Ray getting a lot of damage once again onto Zoom, but it's just back and forth. But scary though, once that Shroud's down, it's like you just can't step up as Lysandra. You just have to wait for the minion wave to come to you. There really isn't much counterplay, but this time around there is no wards to spot Clid out. Is Ray gonna venture for it? He doesn't have the Twilight Shroud now. No, I kind of doubt it. There's not a minion wave coming in for a long while. In the bottom side though, EDG are gonna start off this dragon. Just card over to them. It's nice, but it's not gonna end the game. Next one's gonna be Infernal. Damn it. I thought you actually saw the look. No. Okay. I'll just remember say it when I'm casting with right? Richard. And then you just sound like a god. Yeah. All right, well, Ray pushing in this wave, and recall coming in from Zoom. Still has to teleport, just going to walk straight back to lane. You could have got away with that if you just didn't say damn at the end. Casting tips. It's not like you're blind, Clement. You could see that it was there. I would have defaulted to trust. That's fair. You shouldn't have that with me. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, big CS lead that's being opened up by Loken. Just the fact that he is playing this Varus. Yeah, even there's been a lot of focus down in the bottom lane from Haro. It really should be expected in this matchup, to be honest. You're playing basically double advantageous matchups. The Braum can't really do much against the Fiddlesticks either.
But JD Gaming, they're the ones on the timers this game. Their composition is not very good in terms of a 5v5 or in a late game. It's a lot of burst damage. There's not a lot of sustained damage coming out from them. So what they really need to do is get these pieces moving on the map. They really need that first kill. They really need the skirmishes, like multiple kills.
Yeah, got the first one. Bunch of kills, yeah. Ray just toying with the minions right there. Held is also spawned, so that's potential that JD could actually start moving towards right there. You actually see the bottom lane from JD making tracks towards the area. Zoom in enemy territory, throws out the claw, opens up some distance away from the Braum, but Ray is still chasing. Gets the passive up, stroke and flip, and the perfect execution. Lots of damage coming out, and the Winter's Bite lands as well from Mako. Zoom underneath the tower. Still has his ultimate though, so he can't finish him off.
I like the composure from Zoom.
Yeah.
I felt like Ray, I think he missed both procs of the perfect execution, and Zoom was pretty safe once he was underneath the tower.
Oh, it's someone's birthday in the top lane. Mako getting chased back, taking so much damage from this one. Almost instantly drops. Loken finds the kill. Here's Haro under attack, but Clid by himself, dragging him back towards the fight, forcing the fight to happen. Ray behind enemy lines, still in the shroud, but now he has to step out, and he's dead to the hands of Lumao.
Absolute disaster. Scout doesn't get far. Clid blocks his path.
He's still there, man. He just couldn't get out of that play, and iBoy too late to this one. Multiple kills to JD in the skirmish. That's what they needed.
And EDG thought they had a drop with the bot lane rotation, but in fact, JD Gaming were there already. This is one of the first times that we actually seen JD Gaming read the swap coming in. They were doing very poorly in the bot side for EDG. They're trying to equalize it by doing the lane swap, but they just find JD Gaming's bot lane again.
JD now get access to the Herald. They'll take this one down. Yagao constantly pushing up the mid lane as well. And that went so well. So well. And JD, this is the first time they've actually taken the advantage in this series in the early game.
Yeah, and we see that EDG were trying to overcommit to save Mako after that play. They were going all in. Ray was flying into the play as well. I have to say, they just didn't. Wait a minute, they actually had a ward right there on top of on top of Lumal. So they definitely knew about the play incoming. They still stayed around and thought that they could turn. Ray tries to go in to finish off Zoom, gets stunned and into the fear. The crowd control chain coming in.
Oh, cleared.
Yeah, he doesn't get the block, but it doesn't matter. They still get Scout in the end.
And it's perfectly well played underneath that tower, but kind of an odd committal from EDG to even stay there in the first place. They see Luma and it's like, this is still a good fight.
So the member they didn't see was the Clid, actually. They didn't see the Skarner coming in. They knew that Fiddlesticks was already preparing the party. He had his hats ready. The confetti was in the air. And they just stayed for it. It's like, nice party, bro.
And it's just a great start for Jingdong. They can actually make the priority plays happen now. And when they play from ahead, they're an entirely different team. You know, you've got bottom lane. The Varus will be able to initiate the plays. Just picked up his Bladed Rune King as well.
I will say, though, this lead is not big enough for JD Gaming. They're definitely not celebrating at this point. And if EDG just make sure that that doesn't happen again and drag it out towards the late game, I still favor their composition overall.
Oh, for sure, as the game goes later, but absolutely the onus is still on JD to try and make this early game work for them.
The biggest thing about this early game for JD Gaming is that it really showcases what they can go to if the draft goes wrong for them. Like, just pick a lot of kill lanes, pick a lot of things that create hectic action all over the map, and force EDG to play to your style. EDG can't play the same way if they have an Akali in the top lane. Sure, it's one of those tier zeros, absolutely busted champions in the patch right now, but they're going to have to change their style to fit you.
Lumao and Clid sitting in this brush waiting for someone from EDG to walk on by, but just the dual lane on top side, farming away. Harris is playing around mid lane. Just soaking up farm currently, and it's just all good for EDG. Throws out the Infernal Chains. Gonna find purchase, but it's Shelly being popped in mid lane. Lumao's here, but no movement out from Loken or Zoom. Just have the teleport, but probably just gonna get this one charge off. Not gonna finish off the tower either.
It should be good enough, however. The tower is significantly lowered in HP. Should just take it on the next rotation.
Yeah, Scout's also low. Will have to go back to base there. Was constantly being harassed there by Yagao. And we'll see if EDG even decide to try and defend this one. Just, yeah, not already. iBoy Mako here to collect the minion wave, but the tower will go down. So it works out from JD in the end. First tower of the game goes over towards him. All my gold went over to Yagao.
And the EDG find themselves in a pretty tough position. The Mountain Drake is actually quite favorable for JD Gaming, and they have to make a consideration if they're actually going to contest or not. If they don't, this is also a very strong Baron team coming in from JD Gaming. Actually, they do damage incredibly fast, and they do have the Blade of the Ruin King as well. So it's going to weigh very heavily on their mind on this next middle, and you can already see JD Gaming are pinging down on the situation. They want to set up a 5v5.
How much is enough here from JD to say they're firmly in the driver's seat? Because they've now got the mid lane turret, they have the gold lead. Hopefully they should be able to get this next tower on top of that as well in top lane.
It's really about the Aatrox versus Akali matchup for me. If that matchup goes well for them, they could just kind of split EDG's team composition apart, and that means that they don't have to run into the 5v5 so much. They definitely will have the initiative if it's just a pick type of situation. So I think that's the big marker for me.
Getting a lot of work done on top side though, JD.
Yeah.
Another mint wave climbing in there, and top lane only now Ray is walking towards the area. The duo lane now reacts. Tower down to 50%, and now is off the push on top side anyway. So 2 towers to JD, trading those towers for the dragon pressure essentially.
And that's just the Mountain Drake gamble that a lot of teams have to take. If you're on the back foot, taking a Mountain Drake actually doesn't do anything for you. You're not hitting towers anyway. However, if you're on the front side, it's a completely opposite story. So JD Gaming, they're very willing to let EDG take the Mountain Drake. They know it's not going to affect the game at all, and they're just willing to trade immediate gold for it.
Getting further ahead now, 2,000 gold over to JD as we are getting towards the 20-minute mark. Ray on bottom side swapping up once again. He's going to be facing down Yagao here.
All right, this is the matchup that we really need to pay close attention to. They're pretty equal in terms of CS. Excuse me, Yagao's actually very far ahead, but this is a split pushing matchup that really decides who gets the map control.
Now, right now, I'd probably give it over to Yagao. Just the Hextech Gunblade over to Ray, to his name, but obviously a big item power spike for him, but an item and a half there to Yagao. Infernal Chains also really nice into the Akali matchup.
Yep.
A lot of your damage can actually go through the Shroud, as you can see right there. So as long as you have a pretty good idea of where the Akali is, you can continue to output damage.
Ray only being able to dodge out on one of those Qs coming in.
Infernal Chains, once again, forces the Akali constantly on the back foot, no matter when you feel strong. You know, Shroud isn't going to give it to you, so you didn't need to go for like the all-in if you're the Akali, otherwise the Aatrox will just whittle you down as you're trying to farm.
And that's our answer right there. JD Gaming now shifting their entire attention to support the Aatrox versus Akali matchup.
Yep.
It's so hard for EDG to walk into this area.
Oh, Scout finding Yagao. And he pops the World Ender though, and here's the rest of JD collapsing. The teleport, will they be completed though? Scout buying some time. And then comes Talir on the wall. Everyone from JD backing away from the play. Ray pushes forward to perfect execution. Flash out from Lumao. Well, there's the follow-up from the Shuriken flip. Nice kill over to Ray, and Yagao is out of the fight.
The question now is how much can JD Gaming actually trade back at this point? EDG, it looks like they're not going to continue the push, but try and defend. However, Skarner's already on basically blocking duty, forcing iBoy to walk around.
It won't be the tower, but a nice bit of damage. Oh, the teleport's coming in actually from EDG, trying to wrap around, stop Zoom from escaping on this one. iBoy pushing forwards on towards him and topside. You've got Ray.
Does have the flash, but it's a triple flank.
Zoom E over the wall, but it's cancelled out. Pops the ultimate on himself, but everyone from EG is here. 5 versus 1. Zoom flashes the wall. Protobelt, but a flash out from Ray. He wants him dead.
Still a very dicey situation for JD Gaming right there. They don't get the tower, and in fact, they send another kill over to Akali. That's the one person where you don't want to see the kills going towards. I feel like JD Gaming probably bit off a little bit more than they could chew, and now EDG are the ones running the map.
Yeah, good flash there from Yagao. Had to, otherwise he was definitely doomed to the hands of iBoy and Scout. Gets out of that play. Bottom side also went over to JD, so they are still accumulating map advantages, taking down the towers, and actually getting further ahead in gold bits. This isolated gold we're talking about here, going over to the Akali. You know, Loken not really wanting to deal with that as we get into team fights whatsoever.
It was a net maybe 400 gold play for JD Gaming actually, because they took the tower down. But like you said, in terms of getting key item advantages, it actually goes over to EDG. Full kill gold over to Ray.
Well, yeah, that's going to be Oblivion Orb just picked up there as well from Ray. Coming back from base, 4-4 now in kills. Next round's going to be another mountain, actually. But JD, do you feel like they're accelerating hard enough? Because right now it feels like they've been stalled out for the last like 3 to 5 minutes. Yeah.
If you think about the 5v5, it's impossible for Loken to actually walk up. Because Ray could just put down the Twilight Shroud. There's a flip coming in from Haro. Mako's going to be there. He's not going to work in terms of the 5v5. He actually needs to siege earlier, siege harder right now, or find big situations where they can ambush EDG around objectives.
Yeah, EDG have been playing very smart through this series, though. But this is one of the first times we've actually seen them either on the back foot or just like straight up even. Typically, they've had the advantage over this series in the games that they've won in Game 2 and Game 3. So we'll see what else they have. But we're starting to stabilize now, and that's probably the scariest thing here for JD. Can they force more plays? Dragon's about to spawn here. Ray's still sinking topside. Doesn't have the teleport, so maybe they'll just give up this advantage.
What I really want to see is JD Gaming trying to group up and force the vision down into EDG's jungle. That is how they're going to get the face checks coming in from EDG. They have great tools to do it and set up traps. The Skarner is always going to be there. If EDG so far as missteps 2 yards forward, they will get picked off, but it has to come from JDG forcing into the jungle first.
There's a lot of people from EDG pathing towards topside. You see Aatrox all alone. He's actually walking down the river right into Haro. Chooses to actually go for combat right here because FLICKR's right behind him, and Haro is so low already. World Ender has been popped. Loken bring up the rear. And he will disengage.
Favorable trade for JD Gaming right there. They do blow the flash away from Haro, and you have to remember this is Aatrox we're talking about. This is his strongest point in the game. 2-item spike at this point. And throughout that time, I like what JD Gaming did. They did set up the potential traps for the top side. EDG respond by saying, hey, we're just not going into that quadrant of the jungle. We're going to trade top for you.
And while that was already happening topside, Zoom and Loken were in position to also take the Dragon. Nice as probably expecting them to be forcing the Baron over the next couple minutes. 23 minutes on the clock. Next Dragon's going to be Cloud on this one.
Definitely do need the pick, and you can see they're trying to buff up the 2-item spike coming in from Loken as well. Already the Zeke's done on the Skarner. But EDG, they're just not taking any 5v5 fights at this moment.
Yep.
They're content to sit back on their side of the river, to split push it out. It's up to JD Gaming to force the tempo.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, EDG have those answers we get later into the game. Akali's going to blast up the Varus. Ivo's going to keep on scaling. 2 items currently on him. And what does that force look like? Is it literally just pushing up topside, playing around the Baron, actually just trying to contest vision at this point to force an altercation in the jungle here?
I think they need to go in like as a full team at some point. They could probably do so with the 4-man. And have Zoom just try to look for the teleports, but they do need to venture into that jungle, and they do have tools to do it as well. I feel like you could put Yagao in first. He does have the World Enders. At least he's not going to die instantly.
When does that need to happen, though? You're saying at some point, but when does the bomb go off? When does the EDG timer run out?
So I feel like unless JD Gaming get a big fight where they kill 3 members from EDG before 30 minutes, it's going to slip towards EDG quite heavily. Late game, Akali will outpush a lot of, I believe she will outpush the Aatrox. I'm not 100% sure about that. We don't see that matchup anymore because it's always banned.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I believe with the sustain coming in the later game, she should have more pressure into the late game. And she's just a monster in team fights against someone like the Varus. All right, so JD Gaming, they're finally doing it. They're having the 4-man go into the jungle.
Yeah, we also got Zoom coming up from the mid lane. All players around this area. Ray just have teleport, though. And a pink ward in this brush. They will be sponsored. They move out of this one. Like what they're looking for, trying to find a pick. Ray also sitting in fog of war.
Here's the pick they're looking for. EDG have to face check. They don't know if the Baron's being taken or not.
Ray's going to show on bottom side, though. Ping goes on towards Baron. Yeah, EDG don't know what's happening currently at the Baron area. Ray will be able to take this tower, though. The outer turret. This is being started by JD. Trying to draw EDG out into the open.
And they should have a relatively fast Baron. It is spotted out by EDG.
Yep, they know what's happening. Down to 8,000 HP. Scout over the wall. The Blast Cone is there as well as an option to EDG. It's down to 4,000 HP. JD might look to just burn this one down. 2,000 HP. Here comes the Fiddlesticks. He's into the pit, and it's secured by Cleared. And it's a fight on two fronts. Scout in there with the Akali, but he's locked down. Ray about to fall, and he's dead. Yagao turn this one around. Whoa! Massive knockup coming in from him, and he crawls towards the enemy. They are winning this fight. JD take the Baron, and they take the fight. Haro under duress right now as Zoom looks to take him out, but he's out of mana, and it will be an auto-attack. Death coming in here, jumps over the wall. Clear's gonna finish him off.
And this is what JD Gaming were waiting for. They finally get all of their ducks together. They go into the jungle, set up vision, force EDG to come into them. And what a great play coming in from Lumal. He knew the angle that Haro had to take, so he's ready there with the surprise party. Knocks Haro off before he even enters the Baron pit, and that just means Scout and Ray are left to their own devices. There was no way that they could actually get out of that situation alive.
EDG just didn't really push up. You know, JD were just like, hey, they're not approaching. Let's just burn it. And by the time they get in, they split up. It's Scout and Ray by themselves. But special shout-outs to Yagao right there, the white dumpling. Just came in clutch right there.
Yagao's actually the black dumpling, sorry.
Really? I thought Zoom was there.
Zoom's the much lighter skinned one.
Ah. Yeah, good job to the black dumpling right there. Hopefully we get that replay, because that was some sick play coming out of JD in that situation, and it had to happen. If they didn't get the Baron right here, they didn't get that Dragon, then EDG would just slowly overwhelm them and smother them out of the game and the series.
It was a bit unfortunate from the start right there. The MVP of the fight 100% goes to Lumal. He basically cut EDG into two sections. It was the solo lanes versus everyone in the Baron pit, and the rest of the team couldn't really catch up enough. So really well set up by JD Gaming. However, they do need to push their advantages incredibly hard.
Teleport into the bot lane here from Lissandra. Now pushing in this lane, setting up this 1-3-1. They've actually got the Aatrox facing down Ray. We'll actually see who wins this matchup. I feel like it's got to be the Aatrox, though. Still sat on 3 items to 2.5 now from Ray. Scout jumping out of the brush, finds Zoom, and here's Haro as well. Ooh, nice timing on the claw. Activates just in time, it's going to pop him right over. You guys see if he can find purchase onto Ray, not going to happen. We will take down the tower, and JD are getting a lot from this Baron power play.
Up 8K, this is probably their biggest lead throughout the entire series so far.
No, it is the biggest lead in this series. But they just haven't. In the games that they were in games 2 and 3, 100%, EDG have just been controlling the early game.
It really has been all about the picks for JD Gaming. You just want to pick early and forget about the 5v5 sometimes. Really playing EDG's style of game, focusing on the bot lane, but is Yagao stepping a little bit too far forward? Oh, he does have Flip to back him off.
It feels fine, to be honest, in this 1 versus 2. He's making it happen, pushing now onto the inhibitor tower. EDG trying to mount on defense, clearing out the minions is the best bet for them. But this is going to drop to this cannon minion unless they can clear it out. I think it's just going to go down. They don't have anything long range to deal with it, and Yagao's putting pressure on top side.
Still going to continue this. A lot of time left on that Baron. They get the first inhibitor down.
Now pushing into this space. This is a single push coming in from JD.
It has to come down to Ray. Ray has to kill
Mako. Caught out. And you're right, it's got to come down to Ray. See if he can find that assassinate. But Lumal, the squishy target's playing so far back. You can't kill Zoom. You've got to be looking towards the AD carry. But that front line dishing out so much damage. JD have the pressure to push up and take both inhibitors off the first Baron push.
That's a really confident play from EDG, to be honest, to give up 2 inhibitors and say, we're going to take it to you on the next one. The question is, are they really they could be too far behind in this scenario. You have to think about the potential for Aatrox to simply walk into the base on the other side, try to take down those structures. So, very tough situation for EDG, but they're baking everything on the next 5v5. That's when they have to go in.
JD, perfect time for them to be playing up. It had to be now. Final hour. Match point for EDG. There's a very good chance we get to 5 games right here, Clement. Heard it from the flip-flop on the desk, Raz, saying we will hit 5 games.
I love how Raz flip-flopped before the predictions even came up. The predictions read 3-0 JD Gaming for Raz, and he's like, nah, 3-1. I flip-flopped between the time I gave the prediction to my producer and to the time where I was actually on the desk. It's amazing.
It's a good flop.
Yeah, it's a 5-minute turnaround for him.
All right, JD taking up this dragon. Next one's going to be Elder. Exactly 1 cloud and 1 mountain over to each team, pushing into the bottom side. This is The only lane left with Structure still standing for EDG.
Key thing is that Ray does not have a teleport, so they have to give this one up. They know it themselves, but here's the big 5v5. They can't go down triple inhibitors.
Yeah, Ray's got to go back to base first, though. Doesn't have that teleport.
It all comes down to this.
iBoy, 2.5 items, though, would really love the chance to try and get that third item, but the fight is coming to him. And Yagao, he's already in the base. He's just dealing with the ward right here, pushing in this wave, making sure that the minions have an easy time and easy access onto the towers. So EDG have to fight a fight on two fronts. One with champions, one with minions.
Lumo is setting up for the perfect surprise party. He's making sure that there's no vision on this side of the map. They could decide to go in at any moment.
Oh, Ray getting caught out there by Yagao. Has to jump out of that one with the perfect execution. And now he's effectively just out of this one. Now the bottom push comes in for JD. Yagao for the back lines. Instantly has the ult out there, iBoy. But the front is starting to crack. Cleared. Timeout with Scout right here. But EDG getting pushed back. World Enders into the backside. And there's going to be so much damage coming out from Yagao. Finishes off one, and he's pushing onto the spawn pad. You can't stop this man right now. Ray coming in from the back will be able to finish up, but the team is onto the Nexus turret. Cleared low. 3v3 now. Lumal the same, and Ray, he's looking at low health targets. He flashes forwards. The Terrify! Local will finish off the Assassin, and now they're onto the Nexus. JD kick EDG to the floor. They're lining up the kill shot right now. Mako cannot defend the base, and they will take down the Nexus. We're going to a game 5.
And they get the kill first as well. What confidence from JD Gaming, knowing that they've won the fight. It looked really messy at first. EDG took the first kill in that initiation. But JD Gaming were just too far ahead. Finally going back to the composition that we wanted to see out of them. The Varus in the bot lane, the high kill potential lanes, the Skarner coming out from Clid, and of course for the Dumpling Brothers, 2 new picks that we've never seen them play.
There was a lot of hurdles in that game for JD to overcome, but they jumped over literally all of them. We had the picks coming through, as you said, the Aatrox, Lissandra, haven't seen it before coming out of these players, but for me, Yagao, absolutely monstrous on this pick.
Yeah.
Won the 1v1, won the side lane, was great in team fights.
Everyone was thinking that EDG probably outdrafted right here. They're sending Ray into the top lane, and Zoom probably isn't able to match that. He probably doesn't even know how to play Lissandra, but JD Gaming, they were prepared for the flex. That was the biggest turning point in the draft, and the scariest thing about playing against new players is like this. You don't actually know the full extent of their actual champion pools. Zoom, before he joined JD Gaming, was actually a mid laner. So he's pulling off some of those old picks that he probably picked up before his time in the LPL.
Yeah, but you're pulling out that bag of tricks, and it feels like, you know, JD are the team who should have shown all their cards at this point. The fact that we're into the regional qualifiers when they were one of the round 1 teams. But it wouldn't go to game 5 then.
Yeah, no, but I actually do agree with you. I do fault JD Gaming. This is a bit slow in their adaptation. I actually expected this from game 1. They should have gone with what really worked in the previous series as well, but it's good to see them finally wake up, and now it's EDG's time to counter.
Yeah, it's better late than never, and at the same time, this same strategy was working out in game 4, and then we still haven't seen a response to this coming out from EDG as we head into game 5. We'll see. That's what's going to come from us. We're going to head over to the analysts to see what they think.
And we're going the distance. All right, so I'll give you that. We've got the game 5. You were accurate on that prediction, but now one of the two of you are going to be incorrect. Is it going to be Raz or Frost?
Look, I didn't even give a damn at this point. Like, honestly, the series is really paying off. Yeah. It's come to a point where people started to lose faith in EDG, rightfully so. I did. You have 6 series lost in the streak, but you get to a point in the regular season, the preparation, you still have faith in EDG, and it's coming out. That being said,
wait, you still had faith in EDG?
You still had faith in EDG? Wait, didn't you just vote against them
what
at the beginning of the day?
What have you been watching, Raz?
Relax. Relax.
I know we've got the graphics machine in the back. Can we just pull that footage up in a little bit?
But JDG coming back, though, that's the real thing for me. In the series, we had questions of, you know, they haven't been there before. Is this a repeat of Griffin? You know, new players on a big stage. Do they crack when they're supposed to take the next step forward, but they bring it to that game 5?
For me, it wasn't just about JD's players, like, really stepping up. Yagao in particular on the Aatrox. For me, it was about the coach. MVP coach. Because you check out those bans, he's like, nah, this potato is dead. Get Sion out of this game. It felt like that was the big pivot pick that was really covering a lot of EDG's weaknesses. They put Ray on the Akali. I've wanted him to go back to the carry champions. I wanted to see something different. I don't want to see anything different anymore. Put him back on the tanks because Edward Gaming can't play around it. And it was, you know, a bit of a decision-making error, trying to go for that tower dive, trying to force the play. Maybe they can clean it up, but it just doesn't look like the cohesion is there to play that type of comp.
That's the decision-making that I want to hit on, because I think with the composition, if you build that for yourself, you have to know how to play towards Ray in that case. And playing towards Ray in that situation, excellent. But the decision to go in and dive what is an insanely hard composition to dive post 6 was the issue here.
Yeah, and I wanted to, before we quickly move on for Champions, like just talk about Akali and the LPL. Now, I know Akali globally has really been a big deal, especially in the LCK. We can see this champion pop up over in the EU LCS. They're playing it phenomenally well. The LPL hasn't really worked out. It's been banned a lot of the time. We've seen it less in other regions, but it feels like the teams are either, you know, they've scrimmed a ton with it, but they figured it out, and you have like these anti-dive, because if Akali jumps back there, and say she is fed, say she doesn't fall behind Skarner, boom, grabs her, she's done. Fiddlesticks hits her with the fear, no assassination potential here. Who's your actual viable target? You have then Aatrox and Lissandra to pick from, so hopefully you're looking for the Varus. But again, if Akali ever does find that snowball, this composition has so many tools and so many answers to deny that. And then you extend that to the composition that we saw RNG take to also deny the Akali.
And that is the big celebration to Coach Ohm, to recognize that and effectively stymie EDG's attempt to change things up in Game 4. But getting back down to the actual execution itself, we have to come back to that attempted dive top lane from EDG, because that's where things started to go wrong. They still made the exact same set play at 9 minutes, but afterwards they rotated top. Mako dies looking for the ward, and then EDG continue to chase this out.
And to me, it just looks like bad communication and synergy problems, which if you look at Edward Gaming's interviews, it's what they've been crediting this entire split. They say, you know, our form isn't in, we're not in form right now, we're still working on communication, we're still working on team synergy, and that is just plain and simple what you see here. It puts Akali behind, which then loses the ability to play a side lane. And when you have a Lissandra, when you have an Aatrox, and there's no answer to the 1-3-1, that's how JD Gaming just ripped EDG apart.
And in that specific play, it actually goes for much longer too, or like earlier on in that one, because that was a great setup from EDG to look for. At the end, it should have been a tower, but being able to gauge that, a lot of it was just the individual decision-making errors. That really does snowball it in favor of what is a very defensive composition coming out of JD.
And we did get to see that set play end up paying off, or at least it would have if they had been able to pick up the kills. But to continue on this theme of set plays, JD Gaming, it seemed as though they were prepared for this to happen, this inevitability, and then simply once they picked up their own momentum, they were able to propel that into the mid-game.
Really good lane selections here from JD. Putting Aatrox immediately up against the Akali, very difficult for her to ever get the push off and look to roam mid. I think that was great decisions because Yagao starts picking up really strong items for himself. Even goes towards the Youmu's Ghostblade, trying to really have impact in these team fights, and he was. The team fight's been strong, but he was able to get there first. A lot of the times being able to push Akali and side lane, out-damage her in a lot of cases. And so that's why it was so easy for JD, playing much slower, to get to the objectives first. It was secured, the vision was there because they had the 1-3-1 ready. And
we had a lot of questions about Yagao's champion pool. I believe Clement also brought it up on cast. It felt like Yagao had kind of been figured out as soon as you pushed him off the Galio, maybe grabbing towards the Corki, not feeling or looking very comfortable in the champion, but shores it up with the Aatrox. But now you have a scenario where going into Game 5, the determining factor of who faces Rogue Warriors next, you have a champion like Akali go through, you have a champion like Aatrox go through, you know, Kai'Sa, Ryze, these champions still need to hit the ban bench or have been traded back and forth. It just feels like there's too many threats and there's not a very clear series meta other than the Scion that's been identified.
And that's where we keep coming back to the individual plays, these early 10 to 15 minute windows of opportunity that provide the early snowball and allow things to turn that around. I do want to contrast that, of course, with Game 1, but first let's take a look at how JD were able to win this Baron.
That was just a great Baron setup ultimately. Just take a look at Yagao once he joins the fight with the Aatrox. Just walks forward, boom, blows iBoy up, immediately followed up by Zoom. And that's what the issue is here. iBoy has been having a great series thus far, but in this game, when there are so many threats that just jump on him, you're not going to be able to do it. Didn't see the damage coming, so he ulties like late, I suppose, didn't see the flash on him, so has been a rough game here for iBoy.
And surprise, surprise, Yagao will take our MVP for that Game 4 performance on that Aatrox. Of course, you could hear the crowd cheering behind us. I'm certain something has just happened, and we'll find out in just a moment. I wonder what it could be.
I wonder what it could be, but first and foremost, we do need to celebrate Yagao. The Dark Dumpling himself of the Dumpling duo grabs the Aatrox and has a massive game, and he's going to need another performance like that if JD Gaming want to face Rogue Warriors.
So to get back to what we were just talking about, it's all been decided in these 10 to 15 minutes, momentum-building plays that set things up for the teams. I want to contrast that with Game 1, though. JD Gaming took a slower-paced game, sat back for 20 minutes, gave up 4 turrets, and then turned things around with a set play. They've shown that they can halt this momentum, but they've had difficulty doing that in this series, and we've come back to these 10 to 15-minute fights. Do we see that strategy again in Game 5, or is it just going to be another 10 to 15-minute decider?
I think it's hard to call, mostly because going into the next game, I would expect to be, I see a tank on the top side of the map. EDG has been much more willing to dive, and at the same time, I'm also expecting Haro to also just be as effective on the map. This game, we forgot, he had 2 really good ganks. Early games have been working out for them, and they've been getting better at diving.
Yeah, certainly a very strong performance from him. Of course, they still need to close this out because we've got Game 5 coming at you once again. Silver scrapes out of Nanjing. Don't go anywhere. The LPL will be right back.